I'm excited to share with you today the journey of Rutvi Chauhan, born, raised in India, and her journey of coming to America and being crowned Mrs. Universe USA for the year 2024. Rutvi, excited to share the journey with me today.
Absolutely. How are you, Kunal?
Fantastic.
Thank you for having me here.
My pleasure. So you were born and raised in India, in Gujarat, very humble upbringing, and you moved to America 2010 to pursue your career to be in the medical field.
Absolutely.
And in 2017, the bug could not be squashed anymore, and you pursued your career as a professional in the modeling world, and then, of course, the pageant. Talk me through your journey coming to America, of Indian ethnic background. How did your family support you, and how the journey has been?
So, hello to everybody, all the viewers, and a good morning to you as well. Like you said, coming from India, a very small town in Gujarat, who always looked up
What's the name of that
Rai.
town?
So I was born in Valsad and raised in
Valsad.
Bharuch. Yes.
Okay.
And raised in Bharuch, Gujarat. I studied in Surat. Maybe people might know a little more about Surat because that's, like the diamond town
Yes.
of India. So back in those days, I always looked upon Aishwarya Rai, Priyanka Chopra, Lara Datta, who made their names at the international platform of Miss World, Mrs. Universe, and all those kind of pageants. I was always fascinated with crowns and all that. But then as I grew older, I found out that this is not just blitz, glitz, and glamour, but they always are standing for something strong, for a social cause. And that's when my dream became a goal. I'm like, I will do something in the pageant. But again, coming from the Indian household, pageants, modeling is not the top 5 careers that any parents would let their daughters to be in. And for somebody who was always like the top ranker. So you're either, programmed to go into medical studies or being an engineer or CA or anything like that. So again, I followed my sister's footsteps, who is also a physical therapist. Yes, yes, just 2 daughters to our parents.
Okay.
She's a physical therapist as well, and she practices in Australia currently. So I pursued physical therapy. I'm a physical therapist by profession, and then that was my journey. And then that's how I came to United States for global exposure and to continue my master's and all that. And I met my husband in 2010.
Did you move to Texas? Where did you first move to?
No, I was in Michigan. I was in Michigan. That's where I was practicing. And then I met my husband, and it was too much of flying back and forth between Texas and Michigan and being all industry. I think for him it was better to stay in Texas versus in Michigan. So then I moved to Texas. And he was the one who said, he saw that in me, the fire that I always wanted to be in modeling industry or fashion or pageants. So he said that, okay, you know what, there is a pageant coming out. He was the one.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he was the one. And then he looked up for this pageant, and that's how I participated in 2017.
Which one was that?
That was Mrs. Bollywood USA. It was a local
Mrs.
Bollywood USA.
Oh,
yes.
wow. Okay.
It was in Houston.
Okay.
And the way I enrolled myself was I was actually enrolling my son for the kids pageant.
Okay.
So that's how the journey started. And at that time, I wasn't the main title holder as well, the winner. Instead, I was the first runner-up.
So you
I
actually
worked
came
really
first
hard.
runner-up.
Yes,
Wow,
I worked really hard for that as well. That did not even come just like that in a day. But so after winning the first runner-up title, I never gave up, and nor did my husband. He's like, you know what, this should open some doors for you. So I was going through all the auditions here in town for fashion shows and all kind of, photo shoots and all that. And that opened a lot of doors for me, and I started gaining a little more confidence. I thought that the train have passed for me, because in the fashion shows, I would have girls walking with me half my age.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, well, I don't know whether this is good for me or not, but I'm like, if it's now, then I'm going to grab this opportunity. It's now or never.
And you already had one baby at that time.
At that time, yes, I was mom of one. So that's how I continued. I was still working as a physical therapist full time. But then this pageant came up in 2023, which this drew some attention because the winner had to go for the international pageant that was in South Korea for Mrs. Universe. So that's why I'm like, okay, you know what? This is perfect. And that's when I was a mom of 2. Yes. So, and always, my husband is always very supportive. And to my luck, my in-laws are supportive as well.
Do they live in Houston?
No, both set of parents live in India.
In India.
Yeah.
So winning the first runner-up, and then Mrs. Universe USA. How was it like preparing for the pageant?
Well, Kunal, it's funny that you asked me because I did not tell any of my family members that I'm going to participate in this pageant for Mrs. Universe USA.
Okay.
So I would work 9 to 5. I would come home, like do my mommy chores and everything. And then at night when they're asleep, from 10 o'clock to 3 a.m. was my time when I would put my high heels on, practice 2 hours of walking, watch all the pageants that are available on TV and make a note of it. I'm an old school girl. Like I love paper and pen. I would make notes of how they're walking, their poses, their talk, their posture. And then I would record myself and I would compare and I would practice. So
Wow.
I practiced a lot.
Did you have a coach or a mentor?
For
Was
Mrs.
helping you?
Universe USA, no.
No.
No. Like I said, I did not disclose that to anybody. Like even for the pageant, which was from Thursday to Sunday, I saw all my patients from Sunday to Wednesday, flew to Seattle, Washington on Thursday.
Really?
Did my day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and then Sunday, like when I won the crown, I told my husband, I told my mom and dad, they all were happy. I flew back to Houston and my first patient was on Monday at 8 o'clock because I never
Wow.
told anybody and everything was as planned. I'm like, if I win, I'm going to surprise everybody. If I don't, then this would be just like another day.
Sure. So on Monday, when you showed up at your clinic, and when you saw your first patient, were you wearing a crown?
No, I did not. But I
No?
told all my employers.
Yeah.
And so
Your team knew.
yes.
Okay.
I mean, I did tell them, like, and when they found out, the first question was, are you still going to work for us? I'm like, yes. And they're like, do you have to fulfill any of the duties? Like, will
Right.
you work with us full-time, part-time? Or I'm like, no, I'm going to see all my patients. I'm not going to abandon them. But as per the events that I would have in future in that 1 year, I would need your support as well. And they were very supportive. And they actually started, bombarding that news with all my physical therapy assistants as well.
Wow.
So everybody knew that. And then they shared it with my patients. So whenever the next day when I saw my patients, they're like, I know about you. You're not just my therapist, but you won a pageant, right? Okay, show me the pictures. They got so excited.
Wow. What's a
Yeah.
transformation from seeing patients one day
Yes.
to coming back to Houston with that crown?
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes.
What were some of the challenges you faced preparing for it, getting on stage, or the whole mindset, as you shared earlier on, Rutvi, with our ethnic background? Being in the pageant, being in the fashion industry is not necessarily looked up upon
Absolutely.
or not influenced to following the career. While your husband was very supportive, I understand your in-laws may have been, but our family is not just our immediate family, our family is extended.
Yes.
And in our culture, Rutvi, when it's time to share and chit-chat and gossip,
Yes.
they come out of the woodworks.
Yes.
So you must have heard a lot of noise when
Yes.
you were preparing or getting yourself ready to be in this industry. How did you hush those noises? How did you stay focused in what you're pursuing?
It wasn't easy. I have shed my side of tears as well. I have made a lot of pillowcases wet. But just like you said, it's not just the immediate family, it's a whole village that's
Right.
looking onto our social media platforms and. And so there were two major obstacles, I would say. One would be like coming from a medical background, coming from the society that tells me that I'm a mother of 2 kids, I am a daughter-in-law to a family. So they have their societal labels, their status in the society. So to take a detour and jumping into modeling industry and then walking for designers. So when we walk for the designer, I'm not Rutvi. I'm a mannequin for that designer. So I walk for whatever he gives me, whatever she gives me, be it, like some jewelry pieces, some products that I have to walk with. So they'll be like, oh, why is she wearing that kind of clothes? Oh, why is she, agreeing to that?
These are family members, extended.
Yes, extended family members. So they'll be like, no, I don't like that. And they would tell that to my mom and dad, or they would tell that to my in-laws. So me and my husband had a great discussion on it. And then he's like, okay, you know what? You go for your fashion shows on Saturday. I go for my cricket practice on Sunday.
Okay.
So in my cricket practice, if that tells me that I need to wear shorts to do that, to do my practice and all, your family has no problem. Then when you go for your Saturday events, for your fashion shows and all, and if you have to wear shorts, why should my family have a problem? So it's like, okay, there should be a balance. And if you feel that you are getting a pressure, just block all of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So he supported me and he knew, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. If they like, they like. If they don't, it's okay. But I'm not going to lose this opportunity in my life. I have come across and I have listened to my mom and dad like a good daughter. And with your support, I'm going to, open my wings now.
Love it. And so true, Rutvi, where your spouse's support
Yes.
goes such a long way, where your in-laws can be with you or against you,
Yes.
or your parents could be. If his spouse does not support you, that changes everything.
Yes,
And
yes.
same with me when I was leaving corporate America and switching my career to be a realtor. If my wife had not blessed or supported me, it would have been more challenging. I would still may have done what I wanted to do.
Right.
But having a spouse's support is important, because at the end of the day, you're coming back home
Exactly.
to your husband and 2 kids.
Right.
How old are your kids now?
8 and 2.
8 years and 2 years.
Yes.
So son and daughter?
Yes.
So daughter is too young.
Yes.
But your son is mature enough to understand,
Yes.
the industry that you're in. What does he say to you? What does he share with you?
He's very proud of me.
Okay.
So whenever he sees me on the screen, or I was invited to his school from Fort Bend ISD
Wow.
to visit elementary schools, and just to tell them about cyberbullying or any little topics that I wanted to talk to. I visited his school as well, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, that's my mom!" Like that twinkle in his eyes when he
Yes.
shouts, and then he's proud of me. And that's my mom. That's my, like, when I hear those, like, I cannot hear anything else.
Of course.
That's the biggest reward. He
Love it.
understands and he knows now that my husband has made like a little wall of fame, mom's wall of fame. So he has all my certificates, my crown, my sash is there. So my son goes to them. He's like, okay, I'm very proud of that.
That's incredible. So
My daughter wears my high heels.
She does? At
Yes.
2 years old?
Yes, she
And she
loves the
ramps
blings.
around?
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes.
That's incredible. So your kids are seeing mama being successful, being a role model, being, the person that they aspire to be one day.
Right.
Now tell me again, yes, you were able to, hush the noise from family members when you were pursuing it. But did it switch over when you actually were crowned and you were
Yes.
the winner?
Yes.
And the celebrity that they never
Yes.
thought you could be?
Exactly.
How did that change?
So literally now all those relatives who were against me, who
Yeah.
were sending messages to my mom and dad and my in-laws, they're all connecting the dots and letting people know that how they are somehow related to me. Sending pictures of me, of my childhood pictures with them in
With
their
them.
house and all that. They're like, oh, I know, you don't know that's from my family. Rutvi Chauhan is
Sure.
the pride of our family. So that thing has changed. And I take that positively because that's how their upbringing was. So to come out of it, it's difficult to change the mentality. But I have changed that. I'm very happy about that. So just in case if they have their granddaughters or somebody in their relation who wants to not just become a doctor, but also have something else that they want to pursue, their dreams or pursue their life in, then they will have their support.
Love it. About a year back, I wrote a book. It's called The First
First.
Generation Mindset. And the book is all about where being the first one in your family to do something is extremely challenging.
Yes.
And as you go down generations, it gets easier. Also, people take it for granted.
Right.
I wasn't born here, you weren't born here.
Right.
And we've had to pay our dues to get status and citizenship to this country. And kids who are born over here, they don't understand the struggles people go
Yes,
through
yes.
to coming to this land of opportunity. There are business owners, entrepreneurs who are very successful and they pass the business down to the kids and grandkids and they take it for granted.
Yes.
So for you, you're the first generation American. you're also the first one in your family in generations to
Right.
follow your dream to be in this business of fashion and pageant. And you've not only changed your life, your kids' life, but for generations, they'll
Yes.
come and say, you know what? There was Rutvi from this
Yes.
small town in Gujarat,
Yes.
came to America to pursue the career that her parents influenced her or your sister influenced you, but she followed her dream and she was Mrs. Universe America.
Yes.
Now, being someone of Indian origin and coming to America, you were competing against all the other American mommies or
Yes.
Mrs.,
Mrs.,
right?
yes.
Not mommies necessarily.
Right.
And you came out from the minority of minority to
Absolutely.
win Mrs. Universe America.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Yes.
How do you feel, besides your daughter, who's relatively young, but she's still walking in your heels today, but how do you feel you would impact women or young girls back at home in India or in the US? What would you say to them today?
I would say that never never be afraid of making bold choices, because for what I believe is bold choices makes bold women, and bold women creates history. So if you want to create history, you have to step out of your comfort zone, and you have to be ready to take risk and also hit the rock bottom, because once you hit the rock bottom, there's only one way, that's to go up.
Right.
So it's okay to take risk, it's okay to fail, but just think about yourself, just think about the process, that you are doing something that you wanted to always do. So that's what I would say to the younger generation, that take risk, and once you show the world that you are making some progress, I'm definitely sure that the family and all the people will support you as well. Like even for my pageant, it's not just me standing up on the stage being Rutvi. Like when I was up on the international platform in South Korea, like competing with hundreds of other contestants from all around the world, I had the support of the community, not just Indian community, the American community, all communities. And that's the only reason I was up on the stage so confident. So once you make some progress towards your goal, you see that how people and their mindsets are changing.
You mentioned about bold decisions, hitting rock bottom. There's nothing beyond that. You always come up. Do you mind sharing with me in your professional, personal career, your moments of being at the rock bottom? Do you mind sharing that with me?
So being a physical therapist,
Either one. Could be personal, could be business, could be professional, however.
I am a classically trained Kathak dancer.
Oh, wow.
And self-trained hip-hop dancer. Like there is a culture event and I would be up on the dance floor. Like that's for sure.
Okay.
So that has always been my part. And that there was an event here in Houston, and they were looking for some Kathak dancers for a Bollywood celebrity.
Now, Kathak is, which state did that originate from? Because Bharatanatyam is from South
India.
Kathak is from which
Also
region?
from South India as well,
okay.
yes. But then it's slowly adapted to the other regions as well.
Okay.
So like I did like 4 years of Kathak training there in India, never continued later on.
Sure.
But I still have so I wouldn't say that I'm like staunchly, doing Kathak, but I still have those steps, those moves.
You have the skills.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I would definitely want to try and go for auditions.
And Kathak, for someone who's ignorant, is it where you perform, individually? Is it a group dance? How is Kathak done?
More individually, but you can have group dances as well.
Because Bharatanatyam is all about hand gestures and eyes and all those.
Yes.
How do you define Kathak?
Kathak would be like more into expressions.
Okay.
Yeah, and then more with the beats.
More with the beats.
gungrus. Yeah.
Okay.
So the difference between the Bharatanatyam, so is the posture
Okay.
difference as well. And this one has the long string of gungrus. So depending upon which year of Kathak you are in, the number of gungrus increase. So you
wow.
will see, like 2 strands of gungrus with the beginners, and then it goes from 100, 150 and all. So I went for till the 4th year. So when there was
So
this...
the strings,
Yes,
around
yes,
your
it goes.
ankle keep
Yes,
going up?
yes.
How far up can they go?
Well, my guru had almost 200 of them.
200?
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Okay, so that's
I
one
couldn't.
difference.
Yeah, I couldn't touch that
Sure.
achievement. But yeah. So when they had an audition for the Kathak dancers, I'm like, you know what, I want to try. And that was 3 months after my first one was born.
Okay.
So I went there and I was sitting along with the other performers to audition and to wait for our turns. And then the lady, she just came to me and she said, I don't want you to even perform because the dresses that we have for the dancers are specially made from Dubai, a designer in Dubai, and you won't fit in that. So like for you to even try to like audition, but at the end you won't be even able to fit in that dress. So there is no point of you auditioning. So you might want to go back and thank you. Wow. So I'm like, well, you know what? My son is 3 months old and this is my pumping time. I'm a little engorged right now. Give me some time. And they're like, no. So I went home and I just cried because dance comes literally like, it's a second body language for me. It comes so natural to me. And then for somebody to reject me just for that point, I felt so bad. I cried and I was like, okay, you know what? This is the end of my career. I don't want to dance anymore. I don't want to do anything further. I think the mommy hormones were acting as well. So that was the time I felt that, it's just the world just shattered.
Being rejected if you do not dance well or perform well, that's one thing. But being rejected because you will not fit into the outfit that's being predetermined.
Yeah.
That's absurd because if they have outfits ordered from Dubai, then they should say audition for this size women only.
Right.
And if you don't fit, don't even audition.
Right. I understood their point of view as well. I'm not just, like pointing finger at them that why. But I think I took that positive. I cried that evening. But then that was the time when when my husband saw that drive in me that I want to work on myself as well. I'm not just going to be a mommy. And I think from there, we started, like towards the pageant. At that time, I haven't registered for the pageant, but that was the journey from, I shouldn't say fat, but from mommy to fit. The fitness journey started. Sure. Yeah.
So share with me, Rutvi, where you came back home disappointed, aggravated, frustrated, all those emotions playing in your mind. And you have a 3-month-old baby at home who needs your nurturing as a mother. What got you fired up? Because there had to be something.
Yes.
Because most people, when they hit the rock bottom, they actually give up.
Right.
And they don't even want to pursue anything more, let alone following what you did.
Right.
What was it self-talk that you had? Was it, your husband? Share with me a moment that you had that actually got you clicked where, you know what, I'm not going to give up. Do you remember that?
I think it's the self-ego, I would say, because I've always been a high achiever. Like I would always be the, like the valedictorian of the class. Like, okay, my dad would always ask first rank or second rank. Like,
really?
Yes. So I
was
always.
Not if you pass or fail, but be first or second.
Yes. So he would always like, okay, did you get the first rank or second rank? So if somebody challenges me, then I have to do it.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, you know what? I cannot give up. Like, how could somebody just say that and did not even let me audition?
That's right.
So I'm like, okay, I need to show. And then I won the pageant. I got the first runner-up title. I enrolled myself in the pageant. I got the first runner-up. And I saw that lady in the audience. She walked to me.
When you won Mrs. Universe?
Mrs. The 2017. Yeah.
Mrs. Bollywood.
Yeah.
So she was
wanted,
there?
Yeah, and she wanted me to be the part of her agency as well.
Sure.
And I'm like, at that time, I'm like,
Did she remember you?
Yes.
She did?
And I still talk to her till date.
When she came up to you as first runner-up, she actually remembered you?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
She remembered me.
So what did she say?
She wanted me to be the part of her modeling agency as well.
Okay.
And I said that I won't be pursuing that full time because I am a physical therapist. I was on work visa at that time.
Okay.
But I'm like, as a freelancer, I would start. So... And I took that positively from day 2.
Okay.
Day 1 was like,
No.
Day 1, yes, I took that positively. And that actually was the drive for me. Like, you get up in the morning and you have to hold the bull by the horns and something that drives you, that was the thing. And I'm glad for her. Like, even till date, I talk to her, we make fun of that statement.
Yeah.
And she teases me with that statement as well. And that's the quality in me as well, that I would have something in my mind, but then I have to, mellow it down. That everything happens for a reason.
Sure. We're all humans.
Yes, exactly.
And we have no perfect way of operating or giving the right scripted answers. We have emotions as well.
Right.
And I can see that, not even getting a chance to audition and you rejected just walking in, that would be disappointing.
Yes.
Fast forward from that incident, did you pursue more events to do Kathak dancing? Did you give that up, or how is that coming along?
So later on, TikTok came. It was very famous.
Sure.
I started doing, like the hook steps of the trending songs and all. So
Okay.
Kathak took a little back seat,
Okay.
but I still pursue my dancing for sure.
And have you been on stages at
Oh,
groups?
yes.
How
So I did a couple of dances for the ICC events
Okay.
in a group, and then there was a dance competition. I think that was in 2018 or something, and then I won the second prize as well.
Oh, you competed?
Yes, I competed
Oh, wow.
in a
You
dance
came
competition.
second
Yes.
in Kathak?
Yeah, no, that was in hip hop.
In hip hop?
Yes.
You mentioned you were a self-taught hip hop dancer?
Yes, I would always, imitate the dancers, and then I would use the hook step to.
Extremes. One is Kathak,
I always wanted to
Indian
do.
classical, and yours hip hop, completely
Yes.
different.
So when I was young, when I was growing up, like dance class was Bharatnatyam, Kathak, or like those kind of dance
True.
classes. It wasn't like a hip hop Bollywood dance style or something. So, but I think that helped me to get that the body flow,
Okay.
because you need to have that flexibility,
rhythm and
the
everything.
rhythm. Yeah. So that helped me. So thank you, Mom.
Those classes in India.
Yes.
Talk about hip hop dancing. How'd you pick that up? Did you go to a studio to learn? You said you learned on your own. What's your passion about that? What do you like about hip hop dancing?
See, for me, language is not a barrier. Like
Okay.
as soon as I hear some beat,
Music.
like the feet tapping music, I have to be there. I have to, like do some moves. And that's how I started into. And then when my mom saw that I'm dancing and I'm picking up, the steps from the actresses dancing on the TV, you know how it is in Indian households. Whenever
Right.
there would be any guests invited, come on, Rutvi, you need
Go
to
on,
show
perform.
Uncle Auntie. You need to show these people like this dance. Okay, I'll play the song. And then I would always dance. I would have my own audience, like at home, and that's how it started.
So you've
and
had
then
cheerleaders in your life
absolutely
all throughout your life.
yes.
And it's funny. That's true. In an Indian household, when guests come over, if your kid has a talent,
yeah,
oh, beta,
sure,
come on,
yes.
do something. So they
Show
will make
Uncle
you
Auntie.
perform and
yes,
dance.
and I would always dance, and
That's
that's how like
amazing.
in schools and college as well. So I performed at each and every cultural event.
And that helps also build your confidence,
The
whether it's a
stage
small
confidence,
audience
yes.
or on stage at school. You are getting used to performing in front of people. That's why I believe in you pursued your career.
Funny that you said that, Kunal,
Yeah.
because dancing gave me a whole different confidence, but
Yeah.
speaking like that, I was not a good speaker. I
Okay.
was a very shy person. I was very, when I was little, I was very young. I think it was 2 years old. I was signed for the Rasna product. It's
Okay.
very famous in
Rasna,
India. It's
no, yeah.
Rasna. So
Yeah.
I was the Rasna girl. I was supposed to be the Rasna girl, but I did not go for.
You auditioned for it.
Yes. So
Okay.
not the audition. My parents sent the pictures,
Okay.
and it was supposed to be filmed in Mumbai.
Okay.
And then I just cried, and I'm like, I'm not.
So you
going
were
in front-
selected
Yes.
to be the Rasna girl?
Yes. Yes.
And then
I-
why'd you back off?
like front of the camera, front of the microphone, and the team and all. I was just too shy. So again, like for the viewers, I also better myself. I also made sure that I'm bringing the best version of myself. Just imagine a very introvert person who's very shy of talking to, like one-on-one, keeping my eyes and my, my brain focused into books and, like ranks and
Yes.
school. And that's how I've always been. Dancing, perfect, confident. Talking, yeah.
How'd you get past that? How'd you build your confidence?
Practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it where you would have standing in front of a mirror,
Yes.
recording yourself?
Yes.
And at what age did you start improving yourself?
So I think that it happened more after my sister left for Australia.
Okay.
Because that's
How old
when
were you then?
I think I was 16.
Okay.
Because I was under her shadow. Like she was my voice. Like
Okay.
she would, she was very
And
talkative.
what's your age gap?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, she is a talkative person. Like she has to talk. So I was like, okay, like guests come and like, okay, welcome, and that's it. And
what's
she
your
would do the
sister's name?
talking. Dhwani.
Dhwani.
Yes.
Dhwani means voice.
Voice.
So she had a big voice.
She has to, yeah, absolutely. So once she left, then I was the one who took her place.
I see.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
when Rutvi found a voice.
Yes.
Once
Then I'm like,
Dhwani
yeah,
was gone.
you know what? And even my relatives, like, they're like, oh, that's a huge change in you. Like, we always saw that you come along as a package, like,
Sure.
to see you, like, to see your personality.
Yeah.
I was always the, like, the dancing one. Okay. They knew me as a dancer. They knew me as the ranker in the class. And
Yeah.
that's it. That was my identity.
Wow.
Dhwani's sister.
Yeah,
But then they actually got to know me.
sure.
Yeah.
So that got you confidence when Dhwani was gone.
Yes.
But coming to America must have been a cultural shock for you as well.
Absolutely.
Cultural differences, language barrier, the way we dress up, the way we talk, our accent. How do you adapt yourself coming from small town in Gujarat to coming to America?
I would say that I took this as an opportunity. That
Okay.
I'm like, this is a dream to millions. So while I'm here, the only thing that I have to do is just keep on practicing. So once, there was an incident. I was in a nursing home, and there were like 4 patients, and then I would ask something, like I call, hey, Mr. John, and they're like, what? So I'm like, Mr. John, what? And so they literally made me feel that I cannot speak in English at all, because the words, the pronunciations get so flat, like
Sure.
John and dance and Bob
Yes.
and can't. And
Yeah.
so when I said, I can't or something like that, then they would just laugh at me. And I'm like, okay, you know what? In Rome, be a Roman.
Mm-hmm.
So I train myself. It's not just an overnight thing. It's a long practice
Right.
session, I would say, over the years that I have done.
So besides in the work environment where mispronouncing or not articulating the word correctly would be a challenge for you, but how did you get past that? What was the self-talk you did, Rutvi?
So when I was so self-talking, of course, like me and my husband would do the same thing at home, because he
And do
would
you
be
mind sharing, was your husband born in India or born in the U.S.?
same story as me.
Same
So
as you.
yes, so in fact, he lives in the same town as me in Bharuch. Like our
Oh, wow.
houses are literally 2 miles apart.
Did you guys know each other back in India?
Just
That would
through
be-
friends.
that would be a good
I know.
Bollywood story.
I know, like
Met in India,
just through friends.
Stay in the neighborhood and got married in America.
Oh no! But my husband said that I'm glad that we were not like close friends back in India. Otherwise, he would have never said yes.
Sure.
Because he was always the notorious kind.
Oh, really?
So even when I disclosed the news to my friends, they're like, "Are you sure? Like, not him? No way! Like, you were always the studious kind, and he was always the naughty kind. Like, how in
Extreme.
the world?" But opposites attract, they say, right?
So he was also in Michigan?
No, he was born in India,
Okay.
and then he moved to Missouri, Loyola, to do his master's master's there, and then oil.
How did you guys connect over here?
I think at that time Orkut or Facebook was there, and
Yeah.
then we somehow like had some mutual friends, and hi, hello was what it started with.
Did you guys remember your childhood days that you guys knew each
No,
other?
so
or
he said that he was his mom and dad took him to my school for admission, but
Okay.
they couldn't because my class limit was, they had reached the limit.
Okay.
So then he had to move to a different
School.
school. But we have common friends.
So that
because we go to
disconnects.
tuition classes and all.
So that disconnect that happened back in the day, you probably would have looked down upon them. Look at this kid.
Right.
He's no good in grades, and here I am.
Exactly.
Number 1, number 2. So that disconnect actually helped you connect really well in America.
Yes, and he said that once he did his master's, he got more studious. And he said, I wish I would be like that, like when I did my bachelor's. Otherwise, he would have been a doctor.
Is that what you wanted to be?
Yeah, no, he always wanted to be an engineer.
An engineer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Academic excellence is important. And in our culture, we play a lot of emphasis on that.
Yes.
But that's not the only thing.
Exactly.
Right? Yes, you can get good grades, you can get A's and 4.0 GPA, but that does not necessarily mean
Yes.
you'll be successful in life.
Yes.
You may have a great job, a great paying job,
Yeah.
but may not be content, may not be happy. And
Right.
when I see you over here and other events I've seen you, you are glowing and you're excited when you're doing what you do, what you love doing, which
Exactly.
is talking to people, engaging with people, and being on stage. So yes, grades are important, but that's not the most
that
important thing.
Yes, that's what I tell my family, like the girls, the boys who are going into their 10th grade and 12th grade, like, how important that is, the SSC and HSC board exams. And like we have those all WhatsApp groups and they would be like, all the best, and make sure you shine, and then you go to the science stream and you'll be the next doctor. Like they send messages like that. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Just do your best and just be happy with what you have been doing. But make sure that you work hard
Right.
for the result.
So your journey has been incredible. Small town Gujarat to US to now where you are crowned in 2024. But fast forward a year from today, 10 years from today, or 20 years from today, you and I are not going to look the way we look today.
Right.
How do you feel you're going to continue your passion for influencing people or influencing young girls
Right.
to believe in themselves and do what they got to do? How are you going to continue doing that?
So, Mrs. Universe is just brand new. Like, I just came from South Korea a month ago, competing with more than 100 contestants. And we all were talking that what next? Like, when we were all, departing from the airport, we're like, what next? So we are still connected and we are still talking about the future projects. We might collaborate to have some international projects because we all had the same dream. So we have few of those international projects coming up. Some brand collaborations coming up and all that. So I think like taking baby steps to getting to a point where I feel that I'm comfortable enough to leave my full-time job and get into something that could help me pursue my passion, which I always had. That would be something inspiring for the young girls.
Have we considered potentially maybe having an academy or a school where you're training other kids to be successful in this field?
Yes. So me and my husband were talking about that. But again, not being from East Coast and West Coast, it's a little disadvantage because Texas is not into a lot of pageants and fashion shows and much into fashion, I would say, or entertainment industry. So that won't generate the revenue of like quitting job.
Okay.
So I was the plans were to incorporate some other branches as well, not just pageant coaching like walk and talk, but some other areas as well. It could be some, because I have 14 years of physical therapy background as well. So something with fitness. So one of my colleagues, she committed suicide to postpartum depression.
And she was with you in physical therapy?
Yes. So
wow.
I was like, how can a mother, end her life when she was supposed to enjoy the most, the best phase of her life, the
Being
motherhood. But it's serious. It's real, like postpartum depression. So the postpartum fitness, the body image, like after delivering the baby, like going through seeing yourself from, that whole transition. So that came in my mind as well, that pageant coaching of how to train the young girls of how to walk, how to talk, but also incorporating fitness with that and getting some other coaches for mental health and to get a couple of things under the umbrella would be something that I would look forward to. And the other thing, my dad always had a dream of having a old age home, which we call here nursing home. In India, it's called old age home.
Old age home.
To change the mindset of children abandoning their parents, sending their parents to old age home. I want to create something that we can have the family members happily sending their mom and dad to stay, because the times have changed. It's not the children's fault as well, like because they have their plates full as well. They're tied up with their work. They're tied up with their children as well. And I am a home health physical therapist. I see the geriatric patients on daily basis. So even though if they are with their children, they are still alone by themselves from 9 to 5. So if there is a child daycare, the adult daycare, if there is a vehicle that they can bring those people to a center to do some activities, just like the kids. So something like that in India.
That's your dream?
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
Incredible. We talked about Kathak, we talked about hip-hop dancing, and of course you love Bollywood dancing.
Yes.
Have we thought about blending all those together?
With the pageant coaching, I think that would come, yes, if I have some Desi contestants, then of course.
No, I'm talking about you doing dance classes where you blend in some moves from Kathak, some from
the
hip-hop,
fusion dance,
some from Bollywood, because there are companies or people who do Zumba classes, which are Bollywood driven, Bollywood music driven.
Right.
How about, is there even a concept of Kathak with hip hop and Bollywood?
Never thought of that, but that's a good point. Yeah, for
All
sure.
you
I
gotta
would
do is throw in a move or
yes,
two from
but I just
Kathak.
don't want to upset the Kathak gurus.
But
because I don't want to
it's
change
not Kathak dancing.
Right.
Just taking a move or two from Kathak, taking a move or two from hip hop.
Absolutely.
And coming with Rutvi dance.
That would be a beautiful fusion for sure.
That's fantastic.
If something that comes up in future, something like that,
What do
then
you mean
I'll
it
give you
comes
the
up?
credits.
You should come up with it,
I know, right?
right?
Yes.
Come up with some catchy name,
Right.
and which has a fusion of all of these three elements. I think
Absolutely.
there's a market for that.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Rutvi, it's always great to connect with you, hearing about your journey. We're coming to America. And what's funny is somebody who lived down the street from you, you would have probably ignored him all your life because he was not academically
Yes.
excellent as you were.
Right.
But having not connected, but coming to America, connecting with him, but he's your backbone. He's the reason why you are sitting here today, or you had the dream come true. Because as we talked about, your spousal support
It's
makes
very
the
important.
biggest difference.
Yes.
And there are women and men on both sides who squash their dreams or don't pursue what
Right.
they really are passionate about because they don't have the household supporting them. And then,
Right.
of course, you shared about the uncle, aunties, and all the
Yes.
people in your village, truly
Yes.
village and within your network, were frowning upon you when you're pursuing a career in the fashion industry. And now they say, look at my
Yeah. Now they're
cousin,
sending,
niece,
like
whoever,
the WhatsApp
pictures.
messages from UK, from
Yeah.
New Zealand, and I'm like, oh wow, it's getting viral now.
Fantastic. If someone wants to follow you or get inspired by you, what's the best way to connect with you? Is it on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram? What's the best way?
So I am very active on Instagram and
Okay.
Facebook. So it's Rutvi _ Mrs. Universe USA.
Okay. Say that slowly. Say it one more time.
It's Rutvi RUTVI _ Mrs. Universe USA.
Fantastic.
So
Rutvi
definitely
was-
follow my journey, and then if you have any questions, I'm there to answer. If there is a little delay, excuse me for that, but I'll definitely get back with all my supporters and all my well-wishers.
Fantastic. Rutvi, it's always a pleasure to connect with you. And today was no exception. Hearing about your journey, your ups and downs, and hitting rock bottom where you were not even allowed to do the audition because
Yes.
you may not have fit the outfit that was brought in for that event. And that was the bottom moment. And
Yeah.
from there, you have gone up. So I'm looking forward to your journey.
Thank
looking
you.
forward to starting some dance studio, which is a blend of all of those. But super proud of what you've accomplished
you.
as someone of our origin from our country to come to America and win Mrs. Universe America in 2024 is truly inspirational. Thank you for all
Thank
your
you.
time today.
Thank you. Absolutely. It was my pleasure, Kunal.
Thank you, Rutvi.